Now, one of the stories I did want to talk about that's very famous, of course, is the story of the Minotaur. If you know about this story, it's often associated with, of course, King Minos. And if you know about this, when Evans went to Crete and he began excavating that city of Knossos, he decided to call the people of Crete in ancient times, he called them Minoan. So Minoan was a term he coined named after King Minos, who, by the way, was, they think, a mythological ruler of Crete, according to the Greeks. They're not sure when he lived. They're not even sure if he was a real person or not. So that's still, hotly debated about that. But it is considered one of the most famous stories ever told that is associated with ancient, Crete, a long time ago. And it's associated with this legend, that where there was this so-called bull creature that is told by the Roman poet Ovid. He was writing this in a series of, you may have heard the book called Metamorphoses, written about the 1st century CE, where he describes the story of the Minotaur, which Minotaur, by the way, means in Greek, it means bull of Minos, is what it means. And if you know about it, it was this mythical creature that was half bull, half man. And it was eventually put into this labyrinth where it was a meat eater. They gave, human sacrifices to it to be eaten. And supposedly in this labyrinth, which was part of King Minos's palace complex, it was built by this famous architect named, I think his name was Daedalus, and people that went into the labyrinth couldn't get out of it. It was like a maze, and of course the Minotaur would catch them and eat them, basically. What was the deal with the story? Like, what was the origins of it? Well, according to the Greeks, what happened was one of the sons of King Minos had died in one of the Greek games at Athens, and so in punishment, they had to basically send sacrifices to this monster, the Minotaur, to be eaten alive. I think what it was, they had to send something like 7 boys and 7 girls every 7 or 9 years. I think it varies on how many years it was, basically. And supposedly the offspring of the Minotaur, like how it got born, if you know about it, there was a story where the Greeks told that there was supposedly a story where King Minos had this white bull he was supposed to sacrifice to the god Poseidon, but he wanted to keep it for himself. And so Poseidon got angry and had King Minos's wife, Pasiphae, have sex with the bull. And so the offspring was this monster, the Minotaur, which they put later, of course, in this labyrinth. Of course, also Theseus, you may have heard of him. He was supposedly in Greek mythology the actual hero that came to Crete and killed the Minotaur. Theseus was actually the son of the king of Athens, who came as one of, the sacrifices, or disguised as one of the sacrifices, and was able to go into the maze and kill it. So now, whether it's really a true story, they don't really know. I think they speculate that it's likely a story that the Greeks made up about the Cretans, Minoan peoples, because they were the dominant culture of the region, and they were having to pay tribute to them. And so maybe they were also saying that the Minoans were savage and, the Greeks were more civilized, in comparison. But they actually think that the Minoans were pretty civilized as an actual culture. So that's the story, of course, of the famous Minotaur. But they do think that bulls are a part of Minoan culture. It's, used a lot with, they think, probably religion, most likely. Now, whether they worship bulls as gods, I don't know. But they do know it was part of games. I'll get to it later, but the Minoans had this thing called the bull jumping or bull leaping, where they would jump over the backs of bulls. So they were kind of kept as pets, almost, in a sense. So maybe they kind of worshiped them, or maybe sacrificed them to their gods.